Do you guys want to see some Democrats losing their minds?
Sure.
We have
Harold
that
votes no.
Just walk
Let's
outside.
play it.
I love America.
What about Sonny if he makes a deal with Smith?
Without jail time?
And without jail, he says, look, I'm going away. I'm moving to Saudi Arabia. I just want him to go away and stop ruining my country.
There are certain prosecutors that would offer him a plea agreement without time if he would agree to never run for public office again anywhere.
Democracy itself is really at issue in this trial. If Trump could get away with what he's done, what he's charged with here, then we don't have the democracy we believe we had.
To me, this is really going to be about whether people in this country care about the facts and the law.
It would be, Wolf, the end of our democracy if Donald Trump was able to get back into office.
Jesse Waters, that was just a sampling of the reaction.
They said that after the midterms. Remember, democracy was supposed to be over if the Republicans won the House. So we don't have one technically right now, if you listen to them. The View does not seem confident that Jack Smith's going to be able to bring this home.
Agree.
If they're fantasizing about some sort of ridiculous plea where he goes and lives in Greece. It just seems like Trump's traveled more to arraignments than Biden's traveled to swing states. He's been zigzagging all over the East Coast, and Biden's been asleep, or at least like in Delaware reading a book. It doesn't look good for Joe Biden right now. I'm starting to agree with Greg. I hate to say that. Signs are pointing that he might not be the nominee. And I want to bring up what you said about Barr. Some really smart lawyer earlier on Fox said that if they're going to bring in Barr as a witness, they get to cross Barr and say, okay, well, you told Trump there was no election fraud. What'd you do to investigate it? How many man hours did you spend? How much money did you spend? Where did you go? What did those lieutenants tell you? I mean, you can't say everything's fine. It was like 2 weeks he checked for fraud. Okay? Everybody has the right to be suspicious in this country. If you have a COVID election where they blow out all of the signature requirements, they blow out all of the deadlines, and then they blast out all these unsolicited ballots into the ecosystem with no chain of custody, you're not suspicious. You have a right to be suspicious. And all these state legislators had no power to do anything about it. It was just done via judicial fiat. And then Zuckerberg lands, I think it was $500 million, layers over all of these election volunteers, all over the state worker act. These people were activists that were running this thing. So if someone sends you an affidavit that says there's monkey business in Detroit, the president has every legal right to call the Michigan state legislature and say, can you guys look into this? Maybe you want to send an alternative slate of electors for me. And by the way, it's not a big deal to send an alternative slate of electors. You know what they did when a half dozen alternate electors came in? They had the real ones. Then they got the alternative ones. And then they just threw the other ones in the trash. That's it. It didn't mean anything. It's just an alternative elector. That's it.
But Jesse, no president has ever done that before.
Well, they did it in Hawaii in 1960. They had an alternative slate. It's fine. It's been done before. And the other thing is, why can't you just ask Mike Pence to do that?
Did you
Mike
just
Pence
cite
said no.
an election from 1960 in Hawaii?
Hawaii.
You're not Jesse Waters. Take off that mask.
How long had they been a state?
I'm researching too much.
President Trump's, as you can see, the plane, they're lining up on the tarmac, and he is about to depart back to New Jersey.
Can I make a point? I hate to do this because going to The View for political insight is like going to McDonald's for tofu. But they said something that was true, and that is it's not about an election or a crime. It's about taking him off the board. Mm-hmm. It's like
they just want him to go away.
They just want him to go away. And it's like they're playing a team in which he's the best player that they got. Sorry, Republicans, but where are the others? And so they just want to take him off. So they just actually told the truth that they're willing to do anything to get rid of him because they can't play fair.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
And that's you can't do that. As an American, we know the Constitution requires a couple of things to run for president. And it's not to be approved by the View. You have to be a certain age. Yeah. You have to be born in America. You have to be an American citizen. Democrats or anyone who wish something like that in their political opponent is that's un-American. You have to beat someone at the ballot.
The other thing is that I've been noticing...
At the ballot box.
Let me just ask you about this, Greg, is that the Democrats are constantly so disappointed and disgusted with Republicans because they keep saying, if you listen to NPR, for example, they'll say, I just cannot believe that Republicans would stick with him, even after all these indictments, like even after all of these legal problems, and they stick with him and they cannot figure it out.
That's a terrible impression of NPR. It has to be more like this. I can't believe.
I'll give it a try next time. Although I listen at 1.5 speed to get it over with faster.
Why are Republicans still sticking to the person that we can't stand? We hate him so much. Why don't they hate him too? It's because you hate him so much that they love him. Because he scares you because they support him. That's the whole thing. So the more you throw this stuff at him, again, like I said yesterday, it's spinach to Popeye. You know, the more indictments, the impeachments. By the way, that impeachment's got to feel pretty weird right now. The first impeachment, the perfect phone call, when it turns out he was dead right. Yeah. Think about that.
Yeah.